you have this ability to see your mother as a full person. She has a public life and she has a private life, and you somehow seem to see and acknowledge all of her as this whole and complete self, with the good things and the bad things and the great things. Uh, where does that come from when the subject is this personal?
It comes from growing up. It comes from becoming an adult, and somehow I think it comes from escaping, because um, once I left, once I escaped, once I saw the world, once I saw how much people suffer in the world, I didn't become the point of my own source, I was not the center of my own narrative. And that, I think, in one way it was that. And in another way, the way I survived that childhood, maybe, as I've said, often, like one half of me was taking the hits and the other half of me was taking notes. So someone told me, is it true that when a writer is born into a family, that family is destroyed? I said, perhaps, but mine was destroyed before I came along. So it was okay. But uh, I think I tried to always translate what was going on. I mean, I remember from being small to when I was pretty grown up, and even just years before she died, I'd constantly be like turning something that happened which was terrible into a funny story, and then calling my friends and saying, hey, you know what she did, or you know what she said. But it was drafting. I was drafting this book, you know.
I say it happens because you grew up so fast. You ran away at the age of 16. Without a community, without a lot of money, you ran away. What gives a 16-year-old child the courage, I suppose, or the gumption to do something like that?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't like that. Basically, as I came into, like, as I became as I became an adolescent, and the the tension between us was growing fast, and I was aware, even just as I finished school, that I'm not going to be able to last, because it was so hard and humiliating. So I started to plot my escape. It's not like I just got onto a train and ran away because I had a fight. It wasn't that. But I learned, it's described in the book, I met Laurie Baker, who's this absolutely inspirational figure who built my mother's school. And I learned that to join architecture school meant that you could start earning a living even while you were studying. So there was that. I just single-mindedly wanted to get out, to be in a place where I could earn. That was important. I had no money. And so by the time I joined the School of Architecture, then I stopped going home when I was about 18, because it was just too humiliating to go home. But I, meanwhile, had already started building this other world, and a lot of the people here are really my friends, my family, my raft on which I sailed, and I just constructed a different way of, and I was never looking to be unhappy. I wasn't running away in some tragic way. I was always looking, I'm sure things can be better than this. I'm sure things can be better than this. I'm sure this is not what life is going to be about. And then there's another theme in what gave me the courage to run away. It was the Beatles and rock and roll. It was like I just used to listen to She's Leaving Home on a loop, more than a decade too late, and no community and no anything. But yeah, like I just listened to it, and I was just like, yeah, I'm going. I'm not doing this. Bye bye. And I told my brother, I said, I don't know when I'll ever see you again, but I'm never coming home.